What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be previewing round 21. It's Port Adelaide versus the Geelong Cats this Sunday at 2:45 p.m. prime time on Channel 7. Can you believe it? It is going to be a disaster watch, really. And just every single week, a player goes down. We get less and less players, less and less quality players, and yeah, it's a really, really big disappointment, and it's really hard to watch. And I'm sure this week will be no ends for it. So I'm looking forward to Jeremy Cameron kicking 15 goals on his way to 100 goals for the season, and potentially, just watching our diabolical GMHBA performance. And in all seriousness, it's going to be a tough game. It's a game that you just sit here and go, far out, do we really even want to watch? Is there going to be many people actually going? Is there people going to be actually watching this game? This could be a Geelong training drill. This has potentials to be, 100 points, 130 points. It just doesn't bode well at all for Port Adelaide. And I don't see, especially after a week like we had in the showdown and the performance we put out, what's there to say that we're going to turn up this week? It's really if it doesn't go our way, that's it, and I hope we have the mentality like the Saints did last week against the D's, where it was we're 46 points down, doesn't matter though, we're going to give our heart and soul and still come back. So we can only hope that it sort of persists in the same way this week for Port Adelaide. That's a genuine hope. That's not a prediction. That's not something that I'm saying will happen. I'm just saying I could bloody hope that it happens. And as we saw already, the Cats have picked off the lesser known sides this year. They've dismantled North Melbourne, just gone by. They've been able to punish teams consistently and really do a good job of that. So it's very unfortunate that in this predicament we are in, we have to travel down to Geelong. And last year we got the better of them and got out to that 50-point lead at one point and nearly bottled that, which was heart race viewing. But this week we come into it and I'm not going to get into stats. I'm not going to dive in and really depict what we can do. But the Cats, they have a vulnerable defence. They really do have, if you put pressure on the ball carrier, if you do have the opportunity to actually open them up, you can get the ball into your forward half, you can pick them apart, and you can really move the ball well against them. And I saw the Saints do it a couple of weeks back where they just kept going, kept humming along and kept attacking them. It's a really, really promising opportunity for Port, where I don't see it happening. But I don't want to be negative about it. I don't want to really say, I've given up on the season. I'm still looking at the positives, looking at the things we can do this week. And in my mind, the consistent thoughts being selection. What are we going to do at selection? We had so many piss poor performances last week in the showdown. What is there that we can actually do? And we know Miles Bergman's out for the rest of the year with his shoulder, getting surgery on that. We know Jack Lukosius is out for 1 to 2 weeks with a calf strain. Lockie Jones has the potential to be out this week with a cork thigh. I think the 8-day turnaround will probably help his cause. And then you've got out of form players that just continue to get opportunities and will keep getting their chances. I think Ollie Lord in particular had 4 touches. He's had a couple of rough weeks. I know he's had a really bad stretch of form, but the couple of rough weeks, including piss poor weather in both the showdown and in Tassie, not a big man's type of opportunity for him. Probably gets a reprieve considering Lukosius is out, but I wouldn't mind seeing maybe there's an opportunity for Jack Whitlock to come in and play that role. We could also see Christian Reyes come in. Now, I know Travis Boak was far from the worst last week, but he had a last quarter that's probably saved his stat sheet. And I'll be honest about that. I love Trav, as we all know I do, and would keep him in the side forever and ever and ever. But maybe Christian Reyes comes in, has that opportunity. Maybe Trav this week to rest his elderly body from the last couple of really punishing weeks in the wet. Maybe he's the sub this week, an 8-day break being the sub, and can really push through for the last 3 weeks on the field again. Could be Trav. I then look at the selections that can come in. Lukosius and Bergman being out. Dylan Williams has had great form in the Sandful with 11 goals in 2 games and was the sub for the week against Hawks. So I think maybe he gets an opportunity to play forward. Willie Rioli's not in the side, but could come in and really create a promising contribution. He's played a couple of weeks now. He's kicked a couple of goals in both weeks in the sample. Maybe this is his opportunity to come in and play. I look at Manny Liddy. He's been given an opportunity here and there, and then went back to the sample and really dominated. Will Lorenz was by far best on ground last week and should be given the opportunity to play in this week's game. And who comes out? Well, does Joe Barry continue to get games now because it's the last 3 weeks of the year? Last month of the year, deserves games under his belt and really an opportunity to develop. I know the wet wasn't really suitable for him, but he did actually try and actually was okay. So there's a potential for that. Many other names come to mind that we could give an opportunity to. There's probably a potential that we give Rory Atkins a bit of a farewell tour. So there's a lot of selection questions. None that really come in and go, wow, we're going to win this game now because we've got him in it. But it's a conversation to be had. Let me know your thoughts on the selection week this week. A couple of big players that come out of the Geelong spine. Bailey Smith and Jeremy Cameron had great weeks last week, and I think they can always back it up. And Bailey's going for his Brownlow, and Jeremy Cameron's going for his Coleman. So it's a big opportunity for Port Adelaide to really. I don't know why I say opportunity for us to learn what we actually want to do. And this is probably a week where I go, hey, Josh Carr, you know what? Take the reins for the week. Can sit at the back of the box. You can still coach, right? But give full control to Carr. Make the moves. Let him have the pressure situation of, we're 5-6 goals down and maybe we could try this and try that. Try different things because we're missing 8 of our best 22. I could... and then you got an injured Rosie, sore bodies throughout the year. It's a massive detour of what we wanted this year, and it's a failure for a farewell tour as per se. So this is an opportunity. A good club like Geelong, you want to come up against them. Here, Josh, have the keys, have the ideas, and see where we can land. This will be a 10-goal defeat at minimum. Jeremy Cameron's probably going to kick 7. If we can come away with a win, not a win, we're not going to come away with a win. That would be, winning this game would be the greatest of victories I've ever seen with a sample side. If we can come away with a 5-6 goal loss, I think I'll be pretty happy and pretty respectable on that. Whilst Geelong punished the living shit out of the Roos last week, they have been known to take the foot off the gas, and there has been moments where they haven't really put the foot to the floor. So there could be an opportunity this week for us to really save ourselves an embarrassment. But it's not looking good, is it? it's when you got me saying it's going to be a really heavy defeat, yeah. At least we got a Sunday Arvo game, so we're we're played in a time slot where you could be watching your kids play footy, or you could go out for a Sunday lunch and not really think about it. There's opportunities for you to really think about different things. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's we're going to be the longest month of our lives as sport fans. Thank you very much for watching the preview. I'm really, really grateful for the support and the comments and everyone getting around the review of the showdown. Obviously, the glass table has been out as well this week. Thank you very much for getting around that too. That was amazing to see such high numbers for everyone watching that. So please subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come the way of you throughout the rest of the off season and for the remaining month of the year, because I can't express enough how much I really want to just dive into the AFLW. I want to make sure the trade content and everything's going to be good. So we're going to make sure that we have a really big off season, just like I hope Port Adelaide do. But until then, we're going to get through the last month. We're going to do it together. So thank you very much for watching. My name's Anthony, and as always, come the pair.